2022 for Nintendo is almost over, and it's pretty sad because this was actually a pretty fun year with some big announcements, some fun moments, and also some not so fun moments that keep haunting me to this day. I just can't believe this is still happening. But I want to kind of take a trip down memory lane and talk about everything that happened this year that was so massive for me and for a lot of people. And of course, starting this year, we can't talk about anything but the leaks and the excitement that we had. Man, we had rumors of Mario Kart 9, we had rumors of a 2D/3D Donkey Kong game, Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, baby Jeff Grubb's gotta be right this time, and of course the Switch Pro, and none of them happened. But we had a brand new Pokemon game to start the year, believe it or not, with Pokemon Arceus, where we just got to launch Pokeballs at different Pokemon's heads. And of course the internet was full of videos of people getting chased by these Pokemon. But we were gearing up for something big because we heard that the annual February Nintendo Direct was just around the corner. So we were getting excited because once again we started talking about Mario. It's going to be around 5 years since the last big 3D Mario with Mario Odyssey, not counting Bowser's Fury, and we were super excited to see what was it going to be this time. Was Mario going to get announced? No, he wasn't. The Direct started off with a Fire Emblem Warriors game, again, another one on the Switch. I don't think many even Fire Emblem fans cared. I know I have a couple Fire Emblem friends myself, and they don't really care about this that much. Advance Wars Reboot Camp was announced, which was pretty cool, and then it never came out. And finally, we got a new Mario Strikers announced for the Switch, and were we wrong about this one? Splatoon 3 dropped in and said, hey, do you remember Salmon Run in Splatoon 2? Well, it's coming back. It's pretty much the same thing. Nintendo also said, hey, remember that cool Kirby game that's coming out? It's finally in 3D. Well, it's getting even cooler because Kirby sucks on things. Klonoa 1 and 2 got remakes, and all the Kingdom Hearts games are coming over. Well, in the cloud versions, which means you better have the most perfect internet of all time. And hey, look, Switch Sports is a thing now, and it actually looked pretty cool, even though we watched Takahashi and Koizumi play volleyball for 10 minutes.
Another one's coming. Koizumi saves it. A setup in the air, and here comes the spike.
And then Nintendo said, you know what, you guys have been asking for Mario Kart 9 for so long, here's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Deluxe. This new booster course pass would bring back tracks from the past games and even some new ones, which was actually pretty cool, especially for people that never played Tour, and we got 6 ways for the next 2 years, which was tons of Mario Kart content, even though it meant Mario Kart 9 is so far away. Then Nintendo ended the Direct by saying, if you really love Mario and Mario Kart 8, you'll really love him in Mario Odyssey 2. Psych, I'm just kidding, it's Xenoblade 3. I'm not gonna lie, with the Nintendo Direct starting and ending with JRPGs, it actually was a pretty good Direct full of new information, and I actually was left feeling pretty good about it, all things considered. And then Nintendo comes just next month and says, hey, we have achievement missions that you can complete now and get special new icons for your profile picture, which is just like, what? And they're all game specific and they change like every month? This was just an awesome update. Then Mario Kart Wave 1 of DLC finally comes out and we get new tracks for the first time in 10 years. But all people see is one look at Toad Circuit and say, yeah, I think it's safe to say that a lot of people didn't like the new graphics that the DLC tracks took. They looked a little bit more cartoony and Play-Doh-y and not a lot of texture, but you know, it was kind of a divided community because me, myself, I was just excited to get new tracks, and I thought they actually looked really cool for a change. You know, I didn't think we needed that super hyper-realistic look that Mario Kart often gave its tracks. Yeah, it needed a little bit more textures here and there, but I actually loved it. I was just thankful for new tracks. And then April Fools came, and of course, you knew I had to troll all you guys with Mario Odyssey 2's trailer. I mean, come on, it was actually a pretty fun trailer. It was fun, it got us excited, even though it still didn't happen. And then Switch Sports came out.
Tennis, bowling, chambara, soccer, badminton, volleyball.
And that's all you really need to know. Look, Switch Sports was okay, it just was no Wii Sports. I mean, Wii Sports just had that vibe so long ago with motion controls, but we've already done that. The game was okay, it just every sport had like 1 or 2 specific things that you had to do to win every single time, and you would easily win. Every single volleyball match just took forever, and it always came down to your teammate to know how to block on the net, and if they didn't, you were screwed. Badminton was probably my favorite. I was really good at it to the point where I just went on like a 100-game win streak and just could not lose. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying. Bowling had very specific movements that you had to do with the Joy-Con in order to get the ball to go where you want it to. I remember back on the Wii, you could just hold the Wiimote sideways and let that thing rip in a specific spot, and you always got a strike. It made this one kind of hard. Worst part was just waiting for everybody to finish. I mean, it took like 35 seconds each round. Soccer was legit a blast, one of the best games I've played in a very long time. I had a lot of fun. Sometimes the team was just terrible, but when you had a team that passed it back and forth all the way down the field, it was actually amazing. Chambara was just super stressful like always, but still also fun, and you had like 3 different sword types you could use. Believe it or not, tennis had to be the most intense and most skillful game of all of them because you had to place the ball in very specific places, twisting your wrist, curving it in specific ways, and you also had 3 different courts with different bounces for the tennis ball. But I think the game ended up dying pretty quickly for me and a lot of people because we thought there's gonna be a lot more sports and just nothing came. Golf got pushed back until like December for some reason, and we didn't get anything else. And golf was just all courses from the past game, so I haven't even tried it out yet, and I love golf, so that just tells you where that's going right now. But how do you get worse than Switch Sports? Well, you make another Mario Strikers game. Let me get this straight. Battle League is not a bad game. It's just fun to... it's bad. For a $60 game, you have very, very limited modes that you can play, only like a couple against computers, and the rest is just online. I get it's the Battle League, that's the main purpose of it. The whole purpose of the game is your team that you create, and you can't even play online with all the members of your team. So if all 4 of you guys want to join up on your Switches, you can't connect together to play another Battle League team, which is insane because you can literally do that in Splatoon. So why can't you do it here? The game itself also just feels like a smaller, more condensed, more confused version of the past Strikers games. The fields feel smaller. There's a lot of people just running all over the place. The character selection just doesn't feel as unique. The hits aren't as hard. It just doesn't feel the same. And don't even get me started on Boom Boom. The guy just literally cannot defend anything. We didn't have many stages either. There's only like 5 at the start, and the only thing that made them different was like kind of the designs in the grass and also the background, which you can't even see 90% of the match. So yeah, I just feel like it was a huge step back from the past games. And then the rumor mill started up again because E3 was canceled once again due to COVID. So a lot of people wondered if Nintendo was going to do anything, and of course everybody was like, yeah, they'll do something, man. It's Nintendo. They're gonna have some type of their own showcase. They were gonna plan on doing that anyways. We will get some type of a direct or something from Nintendo. Just wait. And we waited and waited and waited, but finally June 28th we got somehow, someway, the Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase returned from 2020. That dreadful, dreadful year. How is it back? We never thought we would see this return again, and this just showed us that Nintendo had nothing planned for E3 this year. Since E3 was canceled, they weren't doing anything, and they had to get out their third-party company information, so voila, the Partner Direct, which even saying those words is terrible. But believe it or not, the Direct itself, as far as Partner Directs go, was pretty solid. Bomberman was getting a new game, and classic Mega Man games were coming back. Pac-Man freaking World got a remake. One of my very first games I've ever played. That was like one of the greatest announcements I think I've ever gotten in my life, and this was from a Partner Direct Mini. Seeing this was no joke, like the highlight of my entire year, because I never gave them a chance to remake this game. I promise you, if Pac-Man World 2 doesn't get a remake, I might cry. We got to get some new information on Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which was cool. They finally showed us some actual footage of Sonic Frontiers, which we didn't get to really see from any other company so far. And 3 previous Persona games were announced for the Switch. I mean, this show was kind of packed, believe it or not. And shortly after, we got Mario Kart Booster Pass Wave 2, which was pretty neat, and Nintendo even went back into the game and changed something with Wave 1. The cars in Coconut Mall now do donuts. Then Nintendo says, okay, hold up, listen. Remember how Splatoon 3 was supposed to come out this summer? No, it's not. So Splatoon and Xenoblade switch spots, with Splatoon being in the fall and Xenoblade now in the summer. And Xenoblade actually did pretty well. Of course, I didn't really play the game. These are not my style of game, but it actually went on to be a Game of the Year nominee and got incredible reviews, so I'm glad for them. I will say it's so crazy to see how Xenoblade grew so much from just having Shulk and Smash Bros to people really recognizing the series since the first game on the Wii. It's funny, I just couldn't really get into the combat. I actually sat down and watched the entire stories for Xenoblade 1, X, and 2, because I'm a psycho, but I love the stories. I just can't really get into the gameplay that much, and it's a lot of hours. But if you're still iffy on the series, just sit down, spend a weekend just watching the story. People put all the cutscenes on YouTube, so you can just watch how the game pans out if you don't want to play it right now. it's actually pretty interesting. And I know a lot of people raved about how awesome the world looked, and it does look like it's chock full of detail. Once again, I can't really talk from experience, but just from watching everything, it looks pretty fun to explore. After Xenoblade 1 getting a remake on the Switch, Xenoblade 2 coming out, and Xenoblade 3, it's kind of crazy all these games are already on the Switch in just year 5 of the console. And then HAL Labs dropped a banger at the end of the summer. Nope, not yet. Kirby's Dream Buffet. Like, we didn't even need this. We just got one of the biggest Kirby games ever, and they said, you know what, here you go, here's another one, here's a spin-off. This was awesome. Like, it was just a little fun game that you could play on the Switch and just race other Kirbys, eat fruit, and make your way to the end. We absolutely did not need this, but at the same time, we needed this. I really don't have much else to say about this game. There was fun food-themed copy abilities, and just racing against people online and trying to get the most fruit and finish first was awesome. It was very competitive, and I loved everything about it, even though Nintendo's online still freaking sucks. Also, I made a bet with a lot of you guys, and also my own friends, that the Mario Kart DLC Wave 2 was going to launch at a specific time, and I was off by like a week or two, and the bet was I would eat hot dog cereal, which is hot dogs cut up in milk. Please don't do this.
Why?
But then something very interesting happens. One person takes to Twitter to take down all of these fake leakers on Twitter, and they go by the name Silex Hunter, which is a play on the name Samus Hunter, a Twitter leaker apparently that has been wrong many times, and Silex Hunter goes pretty hard on these people. Yeah, I mean, they're just coming at every single Twitter leaker and just saying how wrong they are. And actually, they all were very wrong with like everything that they announced. And it just proves to show you can't really trust anybody online. And Silex Hunter showed us that. But with the ongoing leaker wars, we're gearing up for yet again another Nintendo Direct because it's September time. And of course, it comes right around the time we were expecting. And so the show, for the second time this year, starts off with yet again another Fire Emblem game. It's like National Fire Emblem Year, I guess. But yep, here's another one. This one is mainline though. So yeah, we got Fire Emblem Engage and it's coming in January 2023. Look, my expectations with Nintendo Direct are just never that high anymore because they just seem to be letting me down a lot more recently. They just don't have any big hitters like they used to. So like, I'm excited with a couple of announcements, I'll be fine. But this Direct had, like, no joke, 35 to 40 minutes of just third-party games, farm simulators, and filler. Nintendo announces some more Nintendo 64 games for their online service, and then Miyamoto shells like 10 minutes of the entire Direct to say, God, please play Pikmin Bloom. But then he's like, nah, but for real, Pikmin 4, it's finally happening. Goodness gracious, it's real. It's coming. Probably not in 2023 because Nintendo loves to delay things. But no joke, that felt so good to finally get that announced, and it's just so exciting for us Pikmin fans. We've been waiting for so long, and finally we know it's no corny, hey Pikmin or Pikmin Bloom mobile app. It's Pikmin 4, and it's coming soon. Hopefully. And whenever you think HAL Labs is done, they've already released enough Kirby games. Nah, they still pumping them out because HAL Labs don't take breaks, baby. The best 2D Kirby game ever, yeah, you heard me right, Kirby Return to Dreamland is getting a deluxe edition coming to the Switch in February next year, and it looks awesome with even a new copy ability that turns him into a mech and all types of new additions with multiple Kirby players that you can play as, and it just looks beautiful with a new art style, and yeah, Kirby is back again. And then they end the show with another trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, the third one in fact, and I still have no clue what's going on. Oh yeah, I guess we actually still did not know the name of the game yet, so we finally got revealed that it's not Breath of the Wild 2, it's called Tears of the Kingdom, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it still really didn't show us anything new, and still to this date, I can't really say I'm mega excited for the game because I don't know what's happening in this game still. Where is the actual trailer, Nintendo? At least we have a release date, it's coming in May. May 12th to be exact. Hopefully that date's set in stone. We're over halfway through the year now, and after that Direct, I was kind of upset to see nothing Mario related for a new game. Like, I was expecting 2D Mario, 3D Mario, or something like that. It's been over 5 years. Where is the plumber? So I decided to make a little lighthearted video about Where's Mario. And oh my gosh. So in under 24 hours, I was trending on Twitter because apparently I was a spoiled, entitled brat that didn't realize that we had tons of Mario stuff coming, the Mario movie, Mario Kart DLC, all that jazz. But clearly, no one under that post on Twitter watch the video. I mean, it was an extremely lighthearted video that everyone kind of understood, and a lot of people were agreeing with me until somebody on Twitter pointed it out, and then everybody started hating me and making it seem like I was just the world's most evil villain and I should actually just not be on YouTube at all. I'm like, are you kidding me? The whole purpose of the video was me saying that I wanted to see another 3D Mario game. I understand we're getting sports and other things. The whole point of the video was for 3D Mario, for another mainline Mario. It's been almost 6 years. That is it. But you guys were extremely supportive, even though I was being attacked on Twitter, and people even like Nathaniel Bandy reached out, and I freaking love that. I love that guy. Although I'd be lying if I said some of the comments didn't make me laugh, because, I mean, come on. But of course, with it happening so long ago, I still even see people posting it once again today like it's a brand new thing just to farm Twitter likes, and that's just all it is now. No joke, this was literally like a day ago. Splatoon 3 had a test fire for the brand new game launching, which was rock versus paper versus scissors, and of course, Team Rock completely ran away with that dub. But finally, Splatoon 3 launched, and we got to jump into it in the world of Alterna, which we got to find out with some cool details that it was the last surviving place of humanity. We get to see the new idols, which are members of the Deep Cut with Shiver, Big Man, and Fry, and we got to see the triumphant return and first reveal kind of Mr. Grizz within the game. We've heard him from behind the scenes this entire time, and finally we get to see him as the final boss, which has a cool little story around it. The game's campaign was a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people enjoyed it. Salmon Run was back, but it didn't feel too different, and multiplayer was pretty good, but one of the biggest problems was the map design. A lot of people hated the way the maps looked because they were all just pretty much straight lines. Then we have Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which was kind of like a Mario Galaxy, kind of its own spin-off of what the first game was. It's not as much Mario as it is Rabbids and just kind of wackiness, which is cool. It kind of has its own identity, and this time, instead of kind of picking different paths on a charted grid, you kind of just walk wherever you want to go within the confined space and work together that way. Now, I really loved the first game, and I think this one is still a solid game. I don't know, it felt like more Mario Rabbids to me, and I'm not a huge fan with what they've done to change up the things, but I know a lot of people have loved it, and that's all that matters. It's still a really good game. It's a really fun Mario RPG if you want to try it, but yeah, that's kind of what we got. Look, I haven't even gotten to the end of the game yet, nor seen anybody finish the end of the game, but it's funny how they're like, this is the main villain. You'll never guess who this is. The one that keeps all the Lumas and has the same eyes as someone we've seen before. I think it's hilarious. Bayonetta 3 came out, and I actually heard it was a pretty good game, but I just don't ever hear anyone talk about the game. I know it was revealed like so long ago. I think it was at the Game Awards, so it's cool to finally see that that's out, I guess. And then finally, we get a special direct just for the Mario Brothers movie, and for the very first time, we get to see Bowser walk out. We hear his voice, we see him take down the Penguin Castle and stuff, and it's Jack Black. He sounds amazing, and then we see Mario, and everybody's once again like... No, they really just kind of hated his voice. Everybody else sounded perfect, and then Mario started talking, and there's like, Chris Pratt has been working on this voice for so long. This is the voice that he's been working on. I mean, look, I thought everything looked and sounded perfectly fine. I guess that's just the internet being the internet again. The one thing I do have to agree with the internet on is Mario has no butt in this movie. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet released, and the only thing we saw online for the first month was just how buggy and terrible this game ran. But for the most part, everybody was like, this is the worst running game ever. I love this game. Yeah, it's Pokemon. It doesn't matter how bad the game ever runs or how bad the game actually is. I feel like fans still will play the heck out of it and love the game. And that's the greatest thing, I guess, about Pokemon at the end of the day, is that it can't really ever fail because people love Pokemon. But as somebody that doesn't love Pokemon as much, and I've only played through a couple of games, I can't really speak on this one yet because I'm still trying to finish through Arceus, but it looks pretty fun. They kind of utilize more of an open world aspect with this game and going from gym to gym at your own pace, which is a pretty cool concept. I like it. It's kind of hilarious to me, though, that the legendaries is just like a motorcycle and like a flying motorcycle. The one thing that killed me, though, was the animation for eating a sandwich. You just kind of do this weird WarioWare minigame thing, and it just looks goofy as heck, and the Pokemon are just staring off into the background. Then just a couple months later, we get a second trailer for the Mario movie, showing off Princess Peach, showing off more of the Toads in Mushroom Kingdom, and just giving us more details about the movie, which was definitely much needed, and once again, just generating hype for everybody. And then finally, we end the year with Wave 3 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Pass, with fan favorite tracks like Maple Treeway from Mario Kart Wii, and also Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7. But Nintendo also added some more updates to the game. For instance, if you get struck by lightning in mid-air now, you just don't fall, a change that completely changes an item's mechanic after 10 years. That was so weird. But now you can also control what items are on and what items are off during the race, which means you can turn off coins if you don't want them, and you can also turn on all blue shells and just have a complete chaos race. But there is one game this year that I still have been glossing over. And you know why? because it's the freaking game of the year. Kirby and the Forgotten Land was Kirby's first 3D outing ever, so naturally you would assume they would play it extremely safe. Stay in Dream World, visit the same areas we have in the 2D games, and just have very simple copy abilities with no real changes, because that's all people would probably really want, just to see Kirby in 3D, for crying out loud. But no, HAL Labs once again goes above and beyond. They throw Kirby in a brand new post-apocalyptic world where you have to piece together what happened to everybody as you fight the members of the Beast Pack, these giant animals. Give Kirby a brand new sidekick that ties into the story and lore heavily, known as Elfilin, and they have Kirby kind of just go throughout the remains of this Forgotten Land. Lots of the copy abilities do return, but they all have evolutions which have different forms and make them more powerful and unique from the last one, and they even added 2 brand new copy abilities. And one of them gave Kirby a freaking gun. And this game had extra filling and details that the other 2D Kirby games would have in the series, like extra levels and small missions on the side. You could also return and try to collect everything in each level, as you had to collect all the captured Waddle Dees. You could go through a different arena and fight all the bosses all over again. There's even a post-game this time around that's actually canon to the actual story. Not to mention that there are secrets and Easter eggs hidden everywhere in this game. Sometimes you don't even need the secret or Easter egg because all it does is spawn a coin, but it just shows you how much detail is jam-packed into this game and how much love HAL Labs put into it. And the story isn't anything to snooze at. It actually continues and pushes forward more lore from Kirby, and the post-game even connects things from Kirby Star Allies, which is insane. Nintendo's 2022 may not have been anything absolutely mind-blowing or had some crazy announcements that we've had in the past, but it definitely was a fun one with some fun experiences and some funny moments. Now, of course, Kirby and the Forgotten Land was my game of the year, but my other game of the year was something that I've never even played before, which was Shadow of the Colossus, which technically didn't come out this year, of course, but it was something that I've never played, and I freaking love this game. But what's so good about looking back at the end of the year is remembering everything that we got to experience within that year, but also being super excited for what the next year to follow is going to be, because 2023 is going to be new games, new experiences, and new moments for us to look back on, and we're just going to continue to enjoy the things that Nintendo gives us, or be pretty upset. But with things confirmed like the Mario movie for next year, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and even probably Pikmin 4, it looks like it's already off to an amazing start, and that's not even the things that we don't know yet. So here's to 2023, and thank you 2022 for being as special as you were.